the Neymar injury. Now, PSG losing the superstar once again, as you said, at the key moment of the season.
Mbappe or Neymar, if you had to choose one to be fit, who would you choose?
I would choose Kylian Mbappe.
Year 2015. Neymar steps up to collect his place on the Ballon d'Or podium, third best player on the planet. He just won the treble, and the man who built that team around him was Luis Enrique. They were perfect together, the coach who saw exactly what Neymar was, the player who gave him everything. So here's the part nobody could make sense of. 8 years later, Enrique walks into Paris Saint-Germain. First big decision he makes? PSG would be better without Neymar. Not a squad player, not a fading veteran. The single most expensive footballer who ever lived. The same man he'd turned into a champion. People thought he'd lost it, thought he was throwing away a generational talent on a grudge. He wasn't. He saw something coming that the rest of football wouldn't understand for 2 more years. To get why this stunned everyone, you have to remember Barcelona. Under Enrique, Neymar hit his ceiling. He was the left edge of MSN, Messi, Suarez and Neymar, the most feared front three of the decade. The 2015 treble, a Champions League winners' medal at 23. Enrique didn't just play Neymar, he unlocked him. So in July 2023, when Enrique took the PSG job, the story wrote itself. The one coach who'd ever gotten the best out of Neymar was back. After years of injuries and noise in Paris, this was the reset, the reunion, the blessing. It lasted about a month, because the blessing turned out to be the exit door. Years later, PSG's sporting director, Luis Campos, finally said out loud what happened behind the scenes. It was Enrique who pulled Neymar aside. No middleman, no statement through agents. He looked him in the eye and told him in 5 words, "It's good that you're leaving." Campos explained the logic, and it's the whole video in 1 sentence. Enrique thinks about football differently. He thinks about the team. The player who starts is the one who earns it all week in training, with total commitment. Your name doesn't get you on the pitch at PSG. Your work does, which raises the real question. The coach who knew Neymar's genius better than anyone was the most certain he had to go. Why? Start with the simplest problem. You can't pick a player who isn't there. Neymar himself admitted the number: 136 games missed through injury in 6 seasons at PSG. A broken metatarsal in 2018, another in 2019. Hamstrings, ankles, adductors, year after year. His best return in a single PSG season was 31 matches. He cost a world record £200 million, and for huge stretches he was in a suit on the touchline. And it always seemed to happen at the worst moment. PSG's entire reason for existing was the Champions League. That was the one trophy that mattered. Watch when Neymar disappeared. 2018, last 16 against Real Madrid, out injured, PSG eliminated. 2019, last 16 against Manchester United, out again. He didn't kick a ball across either leg, watched United knock them out on a stoppage time penalty, and then went off on the referees on social media. UEFA banned him, so the next European campaign, he missed games for that too. 1 injury, 1 collapse, 1 disciplinary mess, all in a single tie. That's the pattern. Injury, indiscipline, absence, on repeat. Off the pitch, the noise never stopped either. Birthday parties timed over recovery windows, friction in training, the leaks, the briefings, the public comments about the club and teammates. The whole dressing room bent around one man's mood. But here's the deepest issue, the tactical one. Messi, Mbappe, Neymar. 3 superstars who didn't press, didn't track back, didn't defend. Enrique's football demands all 3 from everyone. You cannot run a modern pressing system with 3 passengers up top, no matter how brilliant they are on the ball. And that's the turn. The problem was never just Neymar. It was the entire idea of building a team around Galacticos. Enrique didn't want to fix the trio. He wanted to end it. So he did. Neymar left for Saudi Arabia that same summer, before Enrique had coached a single competitive game. Messi was already gone, off to Miami. And a year later, Mbappe followed, walking to Real Madrid for free. 3 superstars, 3 exits, and not one of them kicked a ball in the team Enrique was about to build. The critics had a field day. Selling your 3 biggest names and expecting to win the Champions League? Madness. Then Enrique built the exact opposite of old PSG. Not a constellation of stars, a team. The midfield became the engine. Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, relentless, intelligent, always running. The forwards defended from the front, and the masterstroke, Ousmane Dembélé. A player half of football had written off as a talented, frustrating winger who'd never deliver. Enrique moved him into the middle and turned him into a relentless pressing centre-forward, the first line of the defence and the end of the attack. The whole team hunted in packs. Where the old PSG had three superstars who wouldn't press, the new one had a Ballon d'Or winner leading the press himself. Then he aimed all of it at the one trophy PSG had chased for over a decade and never won. Here's where the receipts come in. Fast. The season after the trio left, PSG won their first ever Champions League. Their first, the year after the superstars walked out the door. And they didn't just win it, they swept the lot. League One, the French Cup, the Super Cup and the Champions League. A quadruple in the first full season without a single Galactico. Then the individual awards. Dembélé, the Reclamation Project, won the 2025 Ballon d'Or. Vitinha, the midfield metronome, finished third. Two of the three best players in the world from one team. The team that supposedly couldn't survive without Neymar. Enrique was named Coach of the Year, PSG Team of the Year. And they didn't stop. They're back in the Champions League final again, back-to-back finals, the mark of a side that isn't a one-season fluke, but a genuine machine. Now look back at the hook. In 2015, Neymar stood third in the world. Today, PSG have two men up there, and not one of them is a £200 million Galactico signing. They were built, not bought. That is the entire point Enrique was making in that quiet conversation in 2023. To be fair to Neymar, because this matters, his talent was never the question. When he was fit, he was magic. One of the most gifted footballers of his generation, full stop. And his post-PSG road has been genuinely hard to watch. The move to Al Hilal, just 7 games before an ACL tear wiped out his season, then a quiet return home to Santos. He even admitted he could have won a Ballon d'Or at PSG if his body had let him, and Neymar didn't go quietly. He later said he and Messi lived through hell in Paris, that the place broke them. Enrique's answer told you everything about the gap between the two men. He shrugged it off as Neymar's personal experience, then said of his own time at PSG, he was absolutely delighted, in charge of a unique team at a club that trusted him completely. Same dressing room, two completely different verdicts. One man saw hell, the other saw a machine he could win everything with. So this isn't mockery. The ability was real, it just never fit. And Enrique understood the difference between talent and fit before anyone else did. That's what makes this story land. Everyone saw a coach throwing away a superstar. Enrique saw a team that could only be great once the superstar was gone. The Champions League, the treble, the Ballon d'Or, two of the world's top 3 back-to-back finals. None of it happened despite losing Neymar, it happened because of it. Luis Enrique didn't get lucky. He told us exactly what he was doing in 5 words, and then he spent 2 years proving it on the biggest stage in football. He was right about Neymar. He said it in 5 words in a quiet room in 2023, and then he made the whole world say it back to him in trophies.